We are Pneuhaus.
We're a studio in Providence, Rhode Island that builds with fabric and air. We started with basic principles of inflation and have used each project as a means to develop new techniques.
So every time we come up with a new technique, we look at the new phenomena or different ways of manipulating light or space that technique enables, and we implement that in the next project and explore new ways of pushing that each time. An example to explain our process is the camera obscura, which is just a sphere with a single aperture in it that would let the light project from the outside to the interior surface. We thought, what would happen if we tiled that effect over an entire structure? So the compound camera is made out of 109 pinhole cameras, and it was kind of a simple idea from where we were jumping off, but the effect was really profound and kind of made something better than we could have ever envisioned without that iterative process.
Through playing with physical and digital models, we generate new forms that can be fabricated in our studio and installed in public spaces.
Blink is a light festival in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it runs every other year. And Matt and I are both from Cincinnati, so it was kind of like a homecoming and definitely a festival that we wanted to do.
In this project for Blink, we were inspired by root systems and cathedrals. We wanted to create an experience of navigating through a forest of roots connected by a single network.
The kind of structural craft idea that we explored was using gravity as a design tool. So catenary structures are structures that are based on the form that gravity makes on its own. So, if you have a piece of rope or a chain and it's hanging, that curve that gravity puts that string or chain under is a catenary curve. If you flip it over, it resists gravity perfectly because gravity is the force that made it in the first place. So using that basic idea, Augie created this algorithm model to be able to plug in different shapes, different forces, and from there we kind of iteratively, we just kept building it step by step to what Grove is.
Yeah, so all the pieces are based off of a digital model that we've made in the computer and unrolled into flat sheets. And all the labeling and sort of details that we're going to be putting on the 3D object is embedded into these 2D sheets and unrolled with the information from the digital model.
I'm welding the pieces that have been cut out together. We need an airtight seal on this, so we use this machine called a hot air welder. And when I put the two pieces in between these wheels, I hit the pedal, and the arm swings in, blowing a jet of hot air that melts the plastic, and the wheels squeeze it together.
So when the pieces come off the welder in sections, I take them and sew on Velcro and the flaps that we've made that are templated to fit each of the sections.
So we have basically a system to drive everything off of actual video content, so you can make animated clips or any kind of interactive elements that you like and basically put them on this crazy 3D structure. A lot of it is 2D video that's kind of playing from like a top view on the sculpture and playing around with what translates best in there.
We packed the van and left early in the morning, drove to Cincinnati. Matt, Augie, and I. It's about a 15-hour drive, so driving all day. Got to Cincinnati. Grove was installed in this new courtyard on the Cincinnati Public Library downtown. The first install day went well, worked with the building to try and turn off some of the lights. You know, there's always those little things that you never can anticipate with events that need to be dealt with in the days before.
It's always fun seeing the different light installations at these festivals and getting to meet other artists doing similar stuff. Blink is incredible just at how many pieces there were and that they were all over the city. I haven't really seen that scale of a festival before.
I wasn't really sure how it was going to feel inside of it, but it really did feel like this massive thing that, you know, you couldn't ever really see all of it, so you kind of had to walk around it. And then the LEDs were really great.
My favorite animation is when the full rainbow is like cascading around you and you feel totally immersed in it. It was awesome to see how everyone would interact with it. Of course, people were a little more rough with it than we'd expected, but we designed it to be able to take it. People would run into it and bounce off. The catenary form really does create an anti-gravity feeling when you're in it. This kind of upward motion, you kind of feel immersed in that when you're walking through it.
Once again, this is right in front of the library, and Trisha, something very profound that I was like, wow. You know they packed this thing up in 2 duffel bags and brought it here. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of like when you buy a sleeping bag and it's all rolled up and it looks perfect. That's the only time it ever looks like that, because you can never roll the bag up.
He swears that he can get it back in there. I said, well, good luck. We'll have to see. Maybe that's a story in itself, you know?
All right, I like that. So